In this lab, you're a network engineer at Intertech Warrior. Your manager has asked you to configure secure remote access using SSH to router 2 in the company network. SSH, or Secure Shell, is an application-level encrypted protocol used to access devices remotely over untrusted networks securely. For example, SSH can allow you to securely manage routers, switches, and servers from your SSH application on your laptop over the public internet. Without encryption, remote management would use Telnet, an insecure application-level protocol that would expose passwords and data in plain text. To configure SSH on router 2, we have a few steps to do beforehand. Let's first set the hostname for identification, hostname R2. Let's enable SSH and set it as version 2. SSH2 provides better security through stronger encryption methods. We use the command IP SSH version 2 to set it. Remember that SSH has a specific order. First, we need to set up the domain name, intertechwarrior.com. So in global configuration mode, let's put in IP domain-name intertechwarrior.com, which sets the domain name for the router as intertechwarrior.com. Then we need the crypto RSA keys at 2048. RSA is an asymmetric key encryption algorithm. It uses one public key and one private key to allow SSH remote access. When a client connects via SSH, the router presents its public key, which the client uses to encrypt a shared session key. Only the router's private key can decrypt this session key for secure communication. So, let's set up the RSA keys with the command crypto key generate RSA general-keys modulus 2048. This command creates a 2048-bit RSA key for secure authentication. The more bits, the larger the modulus, which means the harder it is for attackers to derive the private key from the public key, because factoring large numbers is a computationally difficult problem. This means that a 2048 RSA key provides a high level of security, as it would take an enormous amount of computing power and time to derive the private key from the public key. Then, we need to create a login to authenticate and enable transport input SSH on the VTY lines. To create a user account for SSH, we'll use the command username itwarrior secret intertech, and then we'll set the privilege mode password with enable secret warrior123. Now let's configure VTY 0 to 15 to allow SSH with the command transport input SSH in the VTY line configuration mode. The next instruction was for the VTY lines to use the same username and password we configured for the local account we created. To do that, we'll use the login local command on the VTY line configuration. Remember to save your configuration. Now, let's use the router IP address to SSH into it from the admin PC. Can you connect? If so, you did it! Remember to save your packet tracer file and fill in your work documentation notes. Once you're done, create your narrative and then share the Google Drive folder you have for this lab with the anyone with a link can organize, add, and edit access. Then submit the lab for review. If you don't know how to submit the lab, refer to the instructions in the lab's intro video section of this program. After that, you can move on to the next lab.